Here I'm going to introduce another visual type called scatter chart. I'm opening a new report page. I'm going to go to visualizations, build visual. I'm going to click on this scatter chart. Then a blank chart will show up. I'm going to make it really big. And now I'm going to define a scatter chart. Here I want to show the trading volume of a industry sector. Okay, I'm going to calculate the total trading volume across all the securities in that sector. I'm also going to show the sector's average return across all the securities belonging to that sector. So for the x-axis, I'm going to show the total trading volume. So I'm going to drop this volume data field as the x-axis, and I'm going to sum over all the firms in that sector. So it's going to be the sum of the volume, but I'm going to rename it. Right click on this and rename for this visual. I'm going to call it total volume. So for the y-axis, I'm going to use the return of the security, the monthly return. I'm going to drop it here, monthly return C. Here I'm not going to sum all the returns. Instead, I'm going to average the returns over all the firms in that sector. So I'm going to choose, instead of sum, I'm going to choose average as a way of summarization. For the legend, I'm going to consider the GICS sector, basically the industry sectors, as legend. Okay, so I'm going to drop that field here, and I'm going to call it again, rename it. Right click, rename for this visual. I'm going to call it sector. So now the basic kind of graph is in shape. So we have many different dots here. Each dot corresponds to a particular sector. We have like energy, financials, healthcare, industrials. So look at the industrial sector here, represented by this kind of gold dot. So we have average return in this sector is around 2%. The total trading volume for firms in that sector is around, I would say, 55 billion. So that's the scatter chart, which shows you the basic situation in terms of return and volume. By the way, I need to rename this y-axis as well. Right click here, rename for this visual. I'm going to call it average monthly return. Okay, so the thing is, here we also have some other things to define, and it will make this scatter chart richer. Okay, for now it's already called a scatter chart, but we can make this chart contain more information and looks better. So for the size of those dots, we can use, for example, how many securities in that sector to define the size of each dot. So I'm going to use the security here, and I'm going to drop it as the field for the size. And by default, Power BI will use the count of security. Means Power BI is going to count how many securities in that sector to define the size of the dot. So if there's many firms in that sector, this is going to be a bigger circle. Okay, otherwise it's going to be a smaller circle. Okay. So here, this scatter chart is basically showing you the situation in terms of trading volume, in terms of average return, and in terms of how many firms in a sector, considering the entire sample period. Okay, we have like 12 months in 2023. Okay, including the December of 2022 in our data set. So all those months are going to be considered in this data chart. However, I actually want to show for a particular month what the situation looks like. In a particular month, what's going to be the sector's average return, a sector's total trading volume, and how many firms are in that sector in that month. Okay, so I'm going to utilize this play axis I'm going to use this year month data field to define the play axis. So once I drop this field here, you can see at the bottom of this chart I have a kind of a axis which shows me the timeline starting from the earliest month in our data set to the latest month in the data set. Okay, we also have like a marker or tuner. You can move it to different month. Okay, and you can see as I move this tuner, those circles moved. And why stop at a particular month? The circles basically shows you in that particular month what's gonna be the trading volume for industrial sector. For example, here the industrial sector now it's in kind of a light green color. So we can see the trading volume is close to 4 billion and the average return is probably like a -6%. That corresponds to the month of September in 2023. Okay, if you move the marker to another month, say June 2023, then here the industrial sector has a trading volume a little bit more than 4 billion and a return close to say 13%. Okay, so yes, we can show the situation for different sectors in a dynamic manner. Okay, more than that, if you just move this marker all the way to the beginning, okay, and then you can click on this button. This button is the play button. Okay, then you can see what happens. At the current point, we are in December 2022. Okay, at this point we don't have data for the average return. Okay, so that's why I don't see those circles here. We actually have a missing value for a particular data field in for this chart. So there's no presentation of that month's data here. But if you click on this play button, then the situation is gonna gradually evolve. You will see the situation for each month starting from January 2023 all the way to December 2023. Okay, let me click on this button. Okay, now it's yes, January, February. Okay, you can see the situation keeps changing. The time keeps going toward the end. So now we're at the last month in 2023. Through this process, you can see those circles has been moving. Okay, they are moving to the situation of next month, then keeps moving to the situation of the next month. So it's a dynamic presentation of what has happened in the past 12 months. Okay, so that's a pretty cool feature of Power BI. I also want to point out, if you, for example, just click on one of the circle, then the entire trajectory of the circle over the 12 months in 2023 will be shown here. Okay, you can click it again. Maybe click here, click on the legend, and the trajectory will disappear and restore the scatter chart to the original state where we are located at December of 2023. So let me do some house cleaning. I'm going to rename the title of the chart. Go to Format, View, General Title. I'm going to call it Total Volume Average Month Return Security Count by Sector. And I will just call it month instead of this name of year month. Kind of strange name. So for this page, I'm going to name it as the sector volume and the return dynamics. Okay, again, you double click on this page name, and you can type in the new name.